Mr. Franklin for 5 minutes for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you holding this really important hearing today, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. It's unfortunate the circumstances and the logistics didn't work out to have more people participate, but it does not in any way diminish the significance of the topic here. Mr. Landberg, the Haqqani network is currently designated a foreign terrorist organization. Is that a fair assessment in your mind? Did they deserve to be on that list?
They are designated as a foreign terrorist organization and have been for a while, and they deserve to be on that list.
And do you see them still continuing the activities that they've been known for conducting?
So we'd be happy to talk in more detail with more granularity during the follow-on session, but the Haqqani group has been traditionally more inwardly focused in Afghanistan, but absolutely they are continue to be designated as an FTO, and we're continuing to monitor them closely.
Okay, and the head of the Haqqani network is currently the Taliban's interior minister. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. In light of that, and also there are plenty of reports out there that people who we've worked with who are sympathizers to the U.S. cause have been rounded up. There are reports of execution. I haven't verified that, but I would certainly think in your line of work that would be important to know and that you'd be investigating that. But in light of that, should the Taliban have been removed from the list of designated terrorist organizations?
So we have regular reviews of FTO designations. We're not at that 5-year mark yet. We're under no pressure or obligation to reconsider that. I think it's a wait-and-see situation in Afghanistan, and a lot of it is up to the Taliban and to see how they behave going forward and whether they're going to fulfill their many commitments made to the United States and in the international community, specifically related to counterterrorism. And I'll note that, as you mentioned, some of the concerns about abuses, in the recent meeting with the Taliban, or the dialogue that our special representative had, and it notes this in the subsequent press release, it was highlighted our deep concerns about some of these reports. So we're monitoring it and tracking it very closely.
So as of today, the Taliban has not been removed from that list?
The Taliban is designated as a specially designated global terrorist, not as an FTO. Also, for immigration purposes, they are actually considered an FTO. Those are very strong tools. Again, this is like it's really the Taliban have it in their hands to fulfill their commitments, and it's not just counterterrorism. I think we've been very clear about freedom of movement, return of Mark Frerichs, inclusive government, protecting human rights and fundamental freedoms. So there's a number of expectations we have, and that's going to determine how we deal with the Taliban going forward.
Well, considering that their interior minister is still on the FBI's most wanted list, I would hope, have strong concern about that and would hope that the department would not take them off. But Ms. Harris, moving on there were estimates when we had testimony before the Armed Services Committee of al-Qaeda reemerging in Afghanistan within 6 months. It's now 3 months later. I understand you probably can't get into a lot of detail in this environment, but without the specifics, is that bearing true? Are we seeing activity there?
So, as you rightly said, I can't get into a ton of specifics here. What I can say is that we are well positioned to monitor terrorist organizations. We continue to try to improve our intelligence picture day over day to make sure that we are monitoring those threats. What I can tell you is that we are focused on making sure we have the capability to counter any threats we see crop up.
But we unilaterally blinded ourselves in Afghanistan. General McKenzie, when he spoke before Armed Services, had testified that, with 2,500 troops, he could have held Bagram. We could have still maintained that in-country ISR capability. But given the caps, the political caps of 700 people to defend the embassy, the airport, and Bagram, it just simply couldn't be done. But he wanted to make it clear that it could have been done had they been given the authority to do that. In light of our inability to see what's happening in the country there now, do you think that was a mistake?
I think we have to consider what we need to cultivate to understand what is going on in Afghanistan. I think it is more complex than just maintaining ISR coverage. I think we need the full suite of intelligence capabilities. We need to work with our allies and partners. We need to ensure that we have a robust kind of intelligence picture across all of the intelligence ints to make sure we really understand what is going on. I think day over day, we are trying to iterate and improve on that picture. We have a sense of what is going on in the country. I think it's better than it was 3 months ago, and I think if I come back and see you in 3 months, we'll have a more nuanced understanding then. Some of that is from the diplomatic channel. Some of that is from continuing to kind of understand where we are with our intelligence picture and seek to improve in different ways.
Well, from the outside observation, it appears to be diplomacy of wishful thinking, and also the same on the military side. We've unilaterally handicapped ourselves. But Mr. Chairman, I'm past my time, but I yield back. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Vermont, a longtime member of this committee and one of our hardest workers in this area,